Hey guys, osandvdxreviews.com. Today I'm just going to unbox two Sony PSP UMD videos. Now, Sony PSPs, they're something of the past now. They're a few years dated. So it's definitely not something as popular as you might see today as for, say, a Sony PSP Go or a PSP Vita. However, the Sony PSP still remains one of the most popular gaming consoles in the world, considerably with Nintendo original Nintendo DS. Those two systems are really the classics in terms of gaming, and I grew up as a child really knowing these products. I picked up a few brand new in the box movies for the Sony UMD videos. In the past, I've gotten a few of these mini disc videos from Sony, and the quality was actually very surprisingly brilliant, because, you know, a few years back, and even today, Sony PSP's display is very good, the sound quality is very good, and their videos, considering these movies are made by Sony, they're licensed by Sony Pictures, are still very good. So it's a great movie player too. If you're thinking of maybe selling it, consider it like a mini DVD player, because you could still play movies on it if for nothing else. So I got some of these. Now, these UMD discs are significantly cheaper than, for say, a game disc, but you still need to pay around $15 to $20 for each of these movies. So they're a little bit cheaper than MRSP, but nowadays, because it's been a while, you can find them for a lot cheaper. I believe you can find this for under $10 now, $8 to $5 if I'm not, exaggerating. And that's really inexpensive for DVDs and movies in general, if people still watch that. Anyway, so it's more high definition than a lot of other stuff like streaming, usually from YouTube. So we'll hope for the best. So one of them I have is UMD for PSP Rent. This is doesn't really say. It just says Rent and Revolution Studios, Columbia Pictures, and it's just a major movie event. So they've got a few classics on here in addition to new movies. I just have a few classics right now. This is PG-13. This is back in 2007, 2006. So it's a little bit, it has DVD picture quality is a little bit better than that on the screen, because the PSP screen is a little smaller, so the pixel is going to be a little denser than on a normal portable DVD player. You also have a full-length movie, widescreen presentation. It looks pretty good. This is just Rent, Tony Award winning. This is a musical and a very popular movie. So there's all these security stuff, and we'll unbox this. By ripping a hole to the back. So if you're familiar with the if you're familiar with Nintendo DS, if you're familiar with the Game Boy Advance SP, those super old mini boxy game systems, if you still know those, remember how back then Nintendo didn't just sell games, they also sold those little cartridges, like Game Boy Advance SP cartridges that played movies, like SpongeBob, Nickelodeon shows and movies. This is the same thing by Sony, except it's on a disc format, so it's going to be a lot higher definition, and it plays back a lot smoother. Okay, let's see if we can slice this, or should we just... It's a security, or it's just Rent maybe 2005. It says 2006 on the back, so it varies, I guess, for the publication date. Let's see if I can crack the case on the top as well. There we go. And on the bottom, all my squeezing has caused a disc to fall out. That's funny. Maybe I'll just rip this one. This one is tight. We'll rip it out. It says secure device place on this disc. That is true. There's a security mini strip. So here's the disc. There's your security. So the disc usually says them here, UMD discs. We've seen all of these. So here's the movie. It just kind of looks like a game, except it has a movie symbol, so it plays movies instead of games, which is pretty cool as well. It has all your information. That's what it looks like. So it usually just sits in here nicely. We also have some advertisement on the back. We have some banners for the movie, some advertisements. We've got some popular books, popular movies back then, and just some advertisements for HD TVs and stuff like that. So that's been Rent, and we'll also unbox Layer Cake. So in addition to TV shows, we can also have full action genre. They have a lot of genres of films. Oh, this one's interesting. It doesn't have the side thing, but it has the stuff there, which is interesting. We'll have to see. They're the same little plastic cases that comes with the game, that are the small plastic cases. Kind of popular. I've always liked these as a child when I grew up. I love the Sony PSP game mini box. Is the best, I think, out of Nintendo and stuff. Only because it really resembled like a DVD and stuff I've seen around the house as a little child, except it's shrunken down, kind of like, you know, how kids like Play Money and stuff. It's like a Play DVD, except it's actually functioning in high definition, so I was pretty happy about that. UMD video, this is Layer Cake by Daniel Craig. I actually haven't seen this movie, so I guess we'll watch this and show you a snippet of the quality of the video once we get going in the second part of this film. The feature, there's a pull tab. Actually, we're supposed to pull this out. I just ripped it over there, so it's just some action. This is an R film, restricted, and some soundtracks by Sony. So this one's interesting. It's actually in here. I'll see if I can. Should I rip it, or I still like to cut it. I don't like to. Scissors are hard to. Well, I'm just going to pull it. There we go. And we can open this up, and it's basically the same thing. We have some cover art for the movie, and the disc itself is pretty tight on this one. It says Layer Cake. Your restriction or PG-13, all your information that you need to know. Again, the same thing we've seen. Interesting thing in this one, it's a simplified packaging. There's no banner or anything or ad, and there's also nothing on the side, but it still is, of course, the official packaging. So you can get all of these movies, all these action genres, all these adventure, spy, classics, adventure TV shows, all of them for Sony PSP at pretty high definition quality. I've always enjoyed them. They're a lot cheaper than for the full length, and in today's standards, they're extremely cheap because some of them has been discontinued, and so you can purchase them again for like $5, which is pretty incredible. For something like this, at least in my opinion. If it's Sony PSP, you can try to consider keeping it for one more reason. Thanks for watching here at OSNVTXReviews.com.